Hello! Welcome to this Sims 3 speed build. For the uninitiated, you may be thinking, why a Sims 3 speed builds when Sims 4 builds and buy is obviously superior? Well, I'm making a series where I'm comparing The Sims 3 to The Sims 4. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to make, as close as possible, the same house that I built in The Sims 4 for my guinea pig family, the Pace family. So I have to say I'm actually kind of pleased with how this turned out. Spoiler alert. At the end, after we watch this build here, I will go through the Sims 4 house so we can compare directly. But I'm not upset. I expected it to be much worse, honestly. Roofing. You'll see this is also not the last time. It seems like, oh, okay, she finished this roofing, but just wait, the roofing will come back. If you thought that roofing in Sims 4 was a headache, in Sims 3, it is far worse. But I have to say, this color wheel is kind of what made it, not to say easy, but very possible to make, almost the same house. We definitely have less options for everything in The Sims 3 compared to The Sims 4 in terms of build buy. So there are less wallpapers, there are less flooring options, paints, all of those like wall covering options. There are less stairs, like everything there's less of. However, because you have the color wheel, the possibilities are kind of endless. So even if they gave you like 4 options, you could kind of make anything out of that. I would say the one area where it actually is limiting is with like clutter, that kind of decor. But I was actually a little, especially because I just did the Sims 4 build, I was like, wow, I didn't realize how much less we had in The Sims 3. Again, for everything. And so some of that is definitely because The Sims 4 has been around for so long and they've come out with so much content, and particularly now with these kits where the whole point is just to add stuff to the game, so that you have more build buy or more clothing. So, they've got that going for them. I don't know if it's really going for them, but it's something. and again, I think with the color wheel, The Sims 3 could get away with not really having as much, because you'll see I use the color wheel a lot in this build to try to match the color schemes as much as I can to what I had in the Sims 4 build. And it's really just a gem, that color wheel. I will definitely say, if you do not have a good computer, like a computer built for the purpose of gaming, the color wheel is a little unusable. I have fond memories of, and honestly, even with this computer, when I was doing this build, there were a couple of times that I thought, well, the game's gonna crash now. And that's gonna be it. I'm gonna have lost everything I did. Thankfully, it did not happen. You just kind of gotta persevere, click around a bit, get yourself out of the sticky situation, and then everything goes back to normal. But this game is definitely built. You need like the computers that they use at NASA to effectively run this game. And, I don't hold that against them. This game is visionary. This game is ahead of its time. This game is everything. So here you'll see I'm doing the roofing again, which actually was okay because it looked even more like the roof I have in the Sims 4 house. But, oh my god, what a pain it was to do that roofing. Again, I was like, I will take Sims 4 roofing any day over this. So yeah, I think the definitely the biggest takeaway for me was like, wow, I didn't realize how, and I have all of the packs, all of the Sims 3 packs in here. So I was like, wow, I didn't realize how little we had. Now when I think back, I know a lot of my love for this game is nostalgia. And, that whole thing when you're a kid, like, even small spaces seem so big, like you go back as an adult and you're like, wasn't this like 10 times bigger than this? And it's like, no, you just were small and had a messed up perception of the world. To some extent, that is what's happening with this game. Is like, I played this game for hours upon hours upon hours as a child. And so how could it not have limitless options? And the other thing is, what it lacks in build and buy options, it more than makes up for in gameplay. So, the other thing, because I already made the family, you'll see them loitering around the front of this construction site. We were also much more limited in CAS, like clothing options, hair options, accessories. The tattoo system in CAS was so much better for Sims 3. Like, there was so much more specificity for like where the tattoo was going. And again, you could you almost had like the color wheel version of the tattoo, where you could like change its size and like change the color and all of that stuff. Oh my god, it's so cool. I think we make up for it in gameplay. Like, I personally, in both The Sims 3 and The Sims 4, I spend way too much time in CAS. Every single time I tell myself, alright, I'm going in, I'm making like 3 Sims. I'm just putting them in whatever outfit. I don't care. I just want to get into gameplay. And then 4 hours later, I'm like, why am I not done with this? And then by the time I get done with the CAS, I'm like, I don't feel like playing this anymore. So Sims 3 CAS does not limit me in that regard, but certainly, again, some of it is just the sheer, I think with The Sims 4, it has become a little bit like, we almost have too much, and I'm sort of at a point, like, we have too much, but a lot of it is, in my opinion, unusable. Like, the base game clothing, I hardly use. There's maybe a few items because we have just so much fewer items for men than we do for women. There are definitely more of the like men or like children, because again, there are probably like 7 options for kids in The Sims 4, and in The Sims 3 there are like 5 options for kids. But in The Sims 4, honestly, if they wanted to like do a revamp of all of those like base game clothes, or like some of the stuff that came with the earlier expansions and game packs and stuff, I wouldn't be mad about it, because right now, we have a lot of options and I have to scroll for 75 hours to get to what I want, but so much of it, I'm like, I'm never going to use this. Never. And we also really don't have a lot of clothes that, in my opinion, is not to say that's not suitable for elders, but it's not like realistic for elders. And so I wish they would do, like, we need a pack, whether it's a kit. At this point, kits are coming. If they're coming, I'm going to embrace them and say, give us an elders kit. Give us something that's literally just like clothes and a few objects specifically for elders. Like, oh my goodness, I just realized I forgot to put the cane down for for my elder sim here. Okay, we're gonna do that as soon as the gameplay starts in the next video. I made such a big deal about that. And then just did not follow through on it. But yeah, I think again, I definitely was a little surprised myself personally. And not like, I still play The Sims 3 quite a bit. I guess it's just when I play The Sims 3, I'm not in the mindset of necessarily directly comparing it to The Sims 4. I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm playing The Sims 3. So I was surprised when like trying to replicate what I had made in The Sims 4 and The Sims 3, both in the cast and build by. I was like, oh wow, this game really did not have a whole lot. Oh my goodness, for the flower options, like, or the plant, not just flowers, but plants in general. I was like, what? There are like 3 things I can use here. Why? How did I live with this before? And I have to say, I never really was that into building when I played The Sims 3, like before The Sims 4 came out. I was the kind of person, because I was a child, I was probably like, you know, between the ages of, goodness, when did it come out? 2007? Oh my god, I should know this. Well, anyway, in the time period it came out, I was probably around like 13, 14, like maybe 12, you know. I was not like looking at houses. I was also not like living in the real world. So I would just build like a massive square and like do motherload a ton of times and just put all the objects I thought were cool that I wanted the family to have to play with. That was my version of building when I used to play this game. And I think I much more often just use the pre-built lots in The Sims 3 when I used to play, which, you know, they weren't bad. Like for what The Sims 3 build by is, they weren't bad compared to some of them in The Sims 4, like, goodness. But the point being, I really only got into building with The Sims 4 because the system's so good. I mean, I'm never going to take that away from The Sims 4 team. They hit it out of the park with that. If the purpose of this game, of Sims 4, was solely to do build by, I mean, it's a perfect game. They did it. But it's not, so. So we cannot say it's a perfect game. What else do I want to talk about on this video? Oh, I think the biggest thing with the build, the biggest difference, I would say, like, obviously the graphics are better, like, you know, fine. That just comes with time. That's, you know, if they release Sims 5, it's going to look even better than Sims 4, sure. But to me, the Sims 3 build buy system is much more realistic than the Sims 4 build buy system. Like, you'll see I had to put columns on this one because you can't just build on, like, you can't build a second story that just, like, goes out into the abyss without some structure below it to support it. like in reality, how you cannot physically do that. And I don't know, I do think I like that in The Sims 4 they were kind of like, okay, this doesn't really need to be that realistic. Like, we can just, you know, things can be a little more freeform. Like, who cares? This is a game. It's a silly game at that. I don't really care if, like, for all we know, the laws of physics in the Sims universe are different from our laws of physics. And so, you know, it's fine. But I will say they were much better about giving us more spots on things to place. So, like, on a dresser or on a cabinet, whatever, there were better positions to place things in The Sims 3, like little doodads and stuff. um, without having to like alt plate, like, oh my goodness, but like bring it up to the height, alt place it, move it back. Oh, it's not exactly where I want it. Move it. Oof, that is such a pain. I hate doing that. I do it every now and then, but rarely. I do not have the patience for it. And the artwork as well. Again, there's much more in The Sims 4. There's no question that has to do with just the sheer length of time that this has been around. But again, Sims 4, like, the expansion packs, like, I feel like now, in The Sims 4, they almost make up for the complete lack of gameplay you're getting in the expansion packs by just giving you a ton of stuff. So, the expansion packs will be, like, 60% just objects and, like, a new world, and 40% gameplay. Whereas the Sims 3 expansion packs were like 85% gameplay. And then like, here's some new stuff to play with too. Which I think the purpose of the game is not just to be a build simulator. It's supposed to be about like the tagline is like play with life. So we should be playing with life. We should have options to. Oh my goodness, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna explore all the various forms of gameplay, like all the different things you can do in this game, because I love it so much. The possibilities are endless, genuinely. Oh my god, that dinosaur that I put in the kids' room made me laugh so hard. And like, just look at how nice with the color wheel that I can just kind of customize the wallpaper in there. It's not like this is the weird thing that in The Sims 4, even though we have more options, in a lot of ways we're more limited, because once you put like one or two things down, if you want everything else to match, you're kind of you've painted yourself into a corner. Whereas in The Sims 3, I can change anything. Literally, there are a few things that it won't let you paint, like do the color wheel for. But if I wanted that washing machine to have that Loch Ness monster like wallpaper I used, if I wanted the washer and dryer to look like that, I could have done that. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just beautiful, honestly. It was so ahead of its time, and Sims 4 is behind the times, I guess. Like, they've given us more, but so much of it is unusable, whether it's because it's kind of like weirdly dated now because the game has been out for so long that the fashion and like even like kind of some of the like architectural like pieces, so like different columns and like wallpapers and stuff that they used, it's sort of like, what year is it? Where and when am I? So there's that, but then also again, like once you've started to build a house and you put your wallpaper up, you put your flooring down, and you place just like a couch, well, now you have very limited options if you want everything else in the room to not even necessarily match with that couch, but look cohesive. And again, I will say you need a powerful computer to make the color wheel work, but it's so good. I also love that in The Sims 3, kids aren't like second-class citizens. They can use the easel. They can use a lot of the stuff that adults can. In this, I don't understand why in The Sims 4 we need to have that weird arts and crafts station, whatever you call it, for kids. Why can't they just use it? Or like have that, but then also have the easel? Cars, I mean, you can see here that I'm buying the family a car. So great. We're going to teach Stefan to drive. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna bring tears to our eyes as we think about how fast he's growing up. Yeah, just everything. I mean, I love this game. I'm trying to be it's like ridiculous for me to say this. I'm trying to be partial. I'm trying to be somewhat partial in that, I want to keep an open mind. I want to give Sim 4 credit where credit is due. Fine. However, The Sims 4 is at a disadvantage in that, again, by the time that game came out, I was, like, in college. I like, just finished high school and was in college. So, the amount of time that I spent playing The Sims severely decreased. I mean, just, that's natural, right? At least for a period, because now I play The Sims a lot again, but, when you're, like, first in college and, like, you know how it is. I was not focused on playing The Sims. So I definitely took a bit of time to adapt to the game, to even, like, buy it and start playing. And then, like, I remember so specifically, it was probably, like, I only played with the base game until maybe, and again, because I was a broke college student, until, like, I graduated in 2016, so yeah, it was either 2016 or 2017 that I, like, actually started buying expansion packs. So, when I played The Sims 3, I didn't have all of the expansion packs, but I had quite a few. And again, this is the virtue of being young and having your parents buy things for you. And, it'd be like, for my birthday, like, I want this expansion pack. But with The Sims 4, again, it was not a priority, and I didn't have money to spend on expansion packs. Any money I did have was spent on other things, not The Sims. And now that I work, I spend all my money on The Sims. Not all of it, but, I will not spare. Not a penny is spared when it comes to The Sims. So, again, my perception certainly is skewed in that there's a lot of nostalgia, there's just the sheer, like, amount that I've played with the two different games. I just don't, with The Sims 4, I go through lulls where it's like, I cannot bring myself to play this game right now. I don't know what, sometimes it just gets a little tedious, unless you're really trying to spice it up and do different things. It's just kind of like, the jobs are all the same. Like, everything is just all the same. I mean, now, maybe with the family, like, the stuff they just added with, growing together, it's, it's gonna be a little better, but I still just think, it's sometimes hard to get into The Sims 4. And I definitely go through, I think many of us go through this, like, like when, Cottage Living came out, I played Sims 4 nonstop for probably about, like, a month and a half. I literally had this little, like, farming family. They had all those lot challenges, that came with that pack. And I made them, like, millionaires just off of selling. Oh my god, I had just the most laborious garden. Every day the dad would have to go and, like, legitimately, if I had him go outside and start tending to the garden, like, so watering everything, weeding everything, picking all the vegetables and fruits and stuff, if he went out at, like, even at like 5 in the morning, it wouldn't be until like 1 or 2 p.m. that he got done. I lived that life to its fullest extent, basically. Like, I did everything you could do in Henford-on-Bagley with that family. And, you know, it was so much fun. I had a grand old time, and then it was kind of like, all right, well, I have done everything you can do with this pack. It's a very great pack. I still think that's probably one of the best packs they've come out with in recent times. But, you know, it's still, at some point, it loses its shine. And with every other pack, that happens so much faster. Whereas, like, I guess, I don't know, in my memory, that never happened with Sims 3. Like, I just wanted to play it always. Like, even I would have friends come over who didn't play The Sims themselves, and I'd be like, we're gonna play The Sims. Basically, you're gonna, like, sit here and watch me play The Sims. I remember one time me and my friend made the Brats. We created the Brats in The Sims 3. We moved them all into a house together, and then one of them, I want to say it was Yasmin, started cooking and burned the whole house down within like 5 minutes of starting to play. See, like, these are the kinds of memories. I don't have memories like this with Sims 4. So great. But okay. I think you catch my drift of what I'm saying here. The landscaping, so the build I did in The Sims 4, the lot I chose already had a palm tree on it. And I was kind of like, I don't really think a palm tree makes sense at this part. I put the family in Sunset Valley if you're, you know, not aware of the Sunset Valley map somehow and you didn't catch on to that already. I don't think that a palm tree belongs here in Sunset Valley, but just to be consistent, you know, I put palm trees. I was impressed by the amount of palm trees options we had in The Sims 3, honestly. I didn't remember having that many. Obviously, and not all of them came. I was like, oh, I guess it's because of Isla Paradiso, but no, it wasn't that. It was just a lot of palm trees. So, yeah, I think also, again, because I never really built that seriously in The Sims 3, I was actually quite surprised by, like, how much I was really able to replicate. I didn't have room for a treehouse on the lot, unfortunately, so that didn't get to be added, but, you know, I put that little nice Katy Perry thing there, so that's the builds. Okay, so, for the purposes of comparison, whoa, I did not want that to happen. Please stop. Please stop. Where's the... Oh my goodness. Now I'm, like, more used to the Sims 3 build layout. I'm like, where is undo? So you can see from the outside, you know, again, not too shabby. I don't think I fully captured this color of navy, but that's okay. Again, we had to put the columns in Sims 3. It was just a necessity. We don't have a car, which is upsetting. We have a treehouse, but we don't have a car. I think I take the car any day. I also, so going back to the, like, Sims 3 being more realistic in its, build buy mode, I could not bring the, like, front porch out as far here, because it said, at one point, like, when I was building, it was like, can't level terrain. So I had to, like, delete, it doesn't come out as far, so I could only put chairs and stuff on this side, so we don't have this going, but that's okay. That's okay. So, you know, it's definitely different in its quirky kind of Sims 3 way. The other thing, if you didn't notice when I was during the build video, I put a drum set in Stefan's room because, yeah, we have a drum. We also have a bass, like an upright bass in The Sims 3. All we've got in The Sims 4 is the guitar and the piano. And so, again, if you've got a drum set, why wouldn't you put a drum set in? I definitely the layout's not even really that different. It's just like I had to put some doors in different places. Like for example, The Sims 4 will allow you to say like, okay, the sim can walk up the stairs here and then also go through a door here. Whereas The Sims 3 will be like, nope, the stairs here, you can't put a door here. So I had to like put the door on this side. We did not have this weird research machine from from my university, or Discover University rather, in The Sims 3. I really still don't get this thing. I only put this in here because Grandma's going to college and Stefan likes research and debate, and so that's originally this was in his room before I did this remodel here. So yeah, so I'll just do a nice kind of image of this, and then we'll take an image of the Sims 3 house and I'll put them side by side in the video. Hopefully while you're watching, that's what's on the screen. Yeah, here again, like the staircase, I couldn't, if you put the wall here, it was like it wouldn't build, like, how do you describe that? It wouldn't build like next to the staircase. So like it would build like this wall, but then all of this would be just that staircase wall, you know, the one that's like there, that's pre-built. So, you know, I had to kind of change the layout of this a little bit. The parents' room is so much bigger. I don't know in the Sims 3 build than it is here. I mean, I'm not upset about it. I'm so glad I got to use the spiral staircase. Love that for myself. But yeah, I think overall I got the color scheme. I was able to make a fairly decent version of this rug, in my humble opinion. You know, I think overall didn't come out bad. And once again, yeah, I think I love in The Sims 4 that they've given us this possibility to, you know, kind of like wrap the stairs. I still think they need to come out with, even just give us one spiral staircase, please. How hard is that? Anyway, but I do like that they've given us this option to like wrap the staircase around, because that looked really good in this build. I couldn't put the fireplace in the Sims 3 game because once again, with the being more realistic, it has like the whole chimney thing attached to it, and I didn't like having the TV over here and having the fireplace over there, and if I put the fireplace here, then the chimney was in the parents' room, so you see what the problem was. And yeah, I mean, I think again, the biggest difference really, in my opinion, is the just the decor. You know, like having all of these nice little plants and having like in the kitchen, you know, like the mugs and all of this kind of stuff, just everywhere, just having those nice little touches. I love, like, clutter is some of my favorite stuff in The Sims 4 because we do have, they've added more now with that clutter kit that came out, and we had a fair amount already, but it's one of my favorite things that they've focused on in The Sims 4 more than they did in The Sims 3, because it does just make the houses feel so much more like lived in and realistic. But so yeah, there it is, compared to the Sims 3 version, which I will, again, do side by side. So I'm pretty pleased with how the build came out. I was kind of dreading doing this because I was like, oh my god, this is gonna come out so bad. But I was pleasantly surprised with how the Sims 3 build came out. So the next video in this series is going to be playing with the Pace family in The Sims 3. So I hope to see you for that video. If you liked this video, please like it, share it with your friends, leave a comment, and definitely subscribe to my channel for more gaming fun. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.